The following is a paid program. Opinions and views expressed do not necessarily reflect the views of this station.
Off the Beaten Path is brought to you by Tailwater Lodge, Altmire, New York. Lee Buick and GMC of Boomville, New York. PSC Archery. New York State Big Buck Club. Hart Rifle Barrels. Majestic Mounts by Rob Kamenow Taxidermy, Marcy, New York. Laval Sport and Farm Equipment, your local Honda dealer, www.lavalsport.com. Ripcord Arrow Rests, Black Gold Premium Bow Sights, and Otis Technology. Bettis Game Calls, Covert Scouting Cameras, and Whitetail Institute. Slay, Odor Neutralizer and Ramcat Broadheads. Closed captioning is brought to you by Oneida Electrical Contractors.
Off the Beaten Path is proud to bring you this short documentary on trapping by two Utica College students, Megan Posto and Nolan Cool.
If you don't love nature and love being out there, you ain't gonna put that much work into it. You ain't gonna be a trapper to begin with if you don't love the great outdoors and have a deep passion and respect for it. What I love about trapping most is the atmosphere, just that getting up in the morning, sipping your coffee, stocking the stove, knowing you've got a whole day of checking traps and mystery and anticipation, and you never know what you're going to get. That's the best part about trapping. You never know what you're going to get. I think it's a lot about the trapper and nature. He just has a deep respect for that animal. That's why he pursues him. Not to see blood spill.
I'm gonna go see how Mom's doing cooking. All right, brother.
It's one of the only things that's pure anymore. Got started in trapping because I was very interested in it, and I used to go down the road to my buddy Brian's, and he used to trap, and I was always fascinated with it, so from there on out, I bought myself a couple traps and gave it a shot, and here I am. I was 9 or 10 years old when I started trapping. My experiences growing up in the country and living in is I wouldn't ask for any other life. It's what I know. It's what I grew up around. I come from a rich tradition of good woodsmen. My first season trapping, by myself and running my own trap line, I tagged along with my friend for a couple of years and learned a little bit about it, but he didn't know much himself. And the first trap line I ran was behind the house, and very discouraging at first. I entered the season with high hopes and no experience. The only thing I had to go from was books that I've read and from what the little he knew and what he showed me. I was checking empty trap after empty trap for week after week, and right about the time I thought trapping wasn't for me, I turned the corner and I seen my first catch ever, and it was a coyote. And not many people catch coyotes on their first try. And it was just a fluke, but that coyote hooked me, and that was that.
The Big Buck Profile is brought to you by the New York State Big Buck Club.
Oh, here we are with another entry. This is JW. JW, congratulations. What county were you in when
I
you
was
shot?
in Onondaga County.
Onondaga?
Yes.
Beautiful. Score. Give me the score.
Net 151-2.
151-2. Bower gun.
Muzzleloader.
Muzzleloader.
Yes.
Smoke hole. Beautiful. Beautiful. Congratulations. That's you ever shot one that big before?
No, actually, that's my first year.
First deer.
Yes. Yeah.
First deer. That's just terrible. Amazing job.
Thank you.
Very much for stopping by.
No problem.
Great buck. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
First deer.
Have you been lucky enough to harvest a big whitetail or big bear in New York State? Then you need to look at the New York State Big Buck Club, the official record book for New York State's biggest and best whitetails and New York State trophy record bears. Log on to the website where you can locate your local measurer, order record books, and then swing over their Facebook page where you can locate past stories on previous hunts. So log on to NewYorkStateBigBuckClub.com.
Honda has the best-selling ATV lineup in America. That includes the wide-open America, the rocky America, and the America that's got a job to do. Add in our full line of Pioneer side-by-sides, and Honda has an off-road vehicle perfect for that most important corner of America, yours. Get low fixed APR financing and bonus bucks during the Honda ATV clearance event going on now.
Lowville Sport and Farm Equipment, East Martinsburg Road, Lowville. Visit them on the web, lowvillesport.com. When performance counts, count on Hart Rifle Barrels. HartBarrels.com.
Hello. What's going on, Rich? Trapping, brother. I think what makes trapping a family tradition is that many trappers have grandparents, ancestors that trapped, and just, I don't know, it's kind of a cool feeling to know that you're keeping that tradition alive. Deep down, you dig long enough, there was a trapper in your family. I just think it's something that if we don't keep it alive, it'll die. I think it's important to keep that tradition alive because, for one, America's economy was built on the fur trade, and people should need to know that.
New York's relationship with the fur trade dates back to the 17th century, when the present state served the Dutch as a colony known as New Netherland.
The way the trade worked essentially was the Iroquois, various tribes would bring them, as I said, down the Mohawk River to Fort Nassau and later to Fort Orange. Fort Orange and Beverwyck become Albany, making Albany the oldest continuously settled city in America. There's a letter that comes out of the area at one point that says there's no fresh meat available, either fish or meat, because all of the natives are out trapping furs.
Today, the fur trade's importance has lessened considerably. New York's trappers often participate for reasons other than money.
I've been around it a while, like going to school. He's been doing it since he was, I remember elementary school, these guys were telling their trapping adventures, all that stuff. I didn't really care about it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But, I think I got into trapping in, I think it was like 10th grade. I was like 15 years old. I got into trapping. My best friend was a trapper. I walked the trap line with him. Like, oh, this is pretty cool. We didn't really catch anything. A porcupine here and there. But it was cool to get that close to an animal. Most people wouldn't have the chance to do that. Each pelt tells a story. Where every animal's not the same. They all have different habits and what they do, and that's the cool part about it too.
Sadly, I think the future of trapping in central New York doesn't look as bright as it did 5 years ago.
Trapping today, it's kind of funny because if you ask the average person what do you know about trapping, they probably don't know anything. Or if they know anything, it's something they heard, some pat line of, oh, well, trapping's cruel, and they know nothing about it. That most trappers are up early and out the door, and you learn so much about nature. You learn things that other people are clueless about.
Alongside facing economic turmoil, trappers also advocate for a better understanding of their craft.
It is a sport that ends up with dead animals in it. I mean, that is the fact. But it's done as humanely and lawfully as you can.
Most of the guys I learned from, they'd show you a thing or two, and then you had to go from there. They wouldn't tell you their secrets that they worked for decades to learn. One of the misunderstandings about trapping is people think that the leg hold, the trap itself, cuts the animal's foot off when they step their foot in it, and that is not the case. All the foothold trap is designed to do is hold the animal there until you arrive to check your trap. I'll show you firsthand that it doesn't cut your hand off.
It's pretty humane as compared to what most people think when they think of trapping. No trapper wants to see any animal suffer. That's not part of our makeup. I would say we have a lot more respect for the animals than the average person, perhaps, because we're so in tune with the environment and with the animals.
There's a long, rich tradition in many different families of just the outdoors and spending time together, and it's kind of a cool feeling to know that you're keeping that tradition alive.
Let your hunt begin with the family dealership of Lee, Buick, and GMC of Boonville, New York, where you always deal with an owner.
For all your commercial electrical needs, look at Oneida Electrical Contractors. The NECA IBEW crew stands first with safety and gets the job right and done in time. But when the job is done, they like to head straight for the outdoors and get in some fun. So when it's time for electrical needs, give them a call. Oneida Electrical Contractors, 5630 Horatio Street, Utica, New York. OneidaElectric.com.
Boulevard Trailers is your New York RV dealer for quality new and used RVs. With over 50 years of experience in the RV industry, you can rest assured that at Boulevard Trailers, you'll receive the most knowledgeable and trustworthy information for all your sales and service needs. That's why we're the Tri-County's largest RV dealer. Visit our website and browse through the showroom of vehicles and accessories we have to offer. Boulevard Trailers, 2 Oriskany Boulevard, Whitesboro.
For over 60 years, Clinton Tractor and Implement Company's philosophy has been simple: to provide excellent products and to keep their customers from having little to no downtime. The Caledona family knows that people are the most important part of their business. That's why they employ the best, most conscientious people in the industry. Clinton Tractor's award-winning service continues to speak for itself. Visit them today and let them show you.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
You're watching Off the Beaten Path. We're bow hunting hogs and javelina down here in South Texas with our friends from Black Gold, Ripcord, and Tight Spot Quivers. We're 30 yards from the spot where the feeder is for the hogs to come out. Basically, where the blind is, the wind's just wrong for it tonight. So since there's a north wind, we had to put ourselves downwind. So we actually brushed in this chair and we're going to sit here for this evening. The way they do these hog hunts, the feeders are all set up with these, what they call kill lights on them, basically. Basically what it is actually just a solar lamp. So it charges during the day and the light comes on in the evening, so the hogs are actually used to the light. So it allows you to shoot after dark. It is legal here in Texas to actually hunt after dark for hogs. So that's not a issue by any means. The feeder also actually has a green LED that actually emits from it too as well. The reason Texas has such an issue with hogs is pigs breed 3 times a year. The females can start breeding at 6 months of age, and they'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 in the litter, so you can see how fast they reproduce, but they also get very smart too.
Independent tests confirm that the pins on a black gold are 20% brighter than the next brightest bow sight. So bright that we had to use photochromatic technology to dim the pins in bright light. In low light, while the pins on other bow sights are growing dim, the pins on a black gold sight are still perfectly bright. Be the last one out of the woods at night. Get a black gold sight.
Bow hunting requires getting in close, and controlling human scent can often be the difference between success or failure. So don't cover human odor, eliminate it with Slay. Slay's scientific formula kills the bacteria that causes odor and keeps working all hunt long. This new Slay Pro Line kit comes with everything you need to neutralize and eliminate human odor. Log on to slaythegame.com now and learn how Slay can get you back in the game. So don't cover human odor, eliminate it with Slay.
Honda has the best-selling ATV lineup in America. That includes the wide open America, the rocky America, and the America that's got a job to do. Add in our full line of Pioneer side-by-sides, and Honda has an off-road vehicle perfect for that most important corner of America, yours. Get low fixed APR financing and bonus bucks during the Honda ATV clearance event going on now.
Lowville Sport and Farm Equipment, East Martinsburg Road, Lowville. Visit them on the web, lowvillesport.com. Well, we're in South Texas here, and we got our hog down. Not the biggest of hogs that came in. There was a bigger one that kept circling us, scent checking, and I'm sure he's big for a reason. Did put a nice shot on this one. He didn't go any more than about 40 yards. Again, I want to thank Black Gold, Ripcord Arrow Rest, and Tight Spot Quivers for having us down. It's always a blast to go on these hog hunts. We're going to see if we can't get ourselves a javelina tomorrow and complete the double. So. The javelina proved to be a little more challenging. Every time we'd sneak up on them, by the time we got there, they'd either be gone or they'd catch our wind and take off. I was lucky on the last day, last hour, to actually harvest 2 javelina within 5 minutes. Unfortunately, I didn't have my camera guy with me, so we didn't get it on film, but here's some pictures of it. They got some nasty teeth.
Right on! You got you one. In the daylight?
Yep.
On video?
Yep.
Sweet, dude.
Cooking with Chef John Granger is brought to you by Tailwater Lodge.
Welcome back, Chef John, Tailwater Lodge. Today we have some gorgeous wild boar pork chops. You can call them pork chops. Wild boars usually got a little less fat in it because it moves around a lot more than domestic animal. And it usually has the flavor whenever it eats, so it's a little more in depth, the berries and all that it has available to it. Today I'm making a apple cider and dried fig barbecue sauce to just go on these nice chops. It's something really simple. They're beautiful. I'm not going to do much, just salt and pepper, make sure they're dry. And it's good enough. Once these get rolling, you don't need a ton of fat because there's a good amount of fat that's going to come off of them as well. You can do this one of two ways. You can do it kind of a slow sear right in the pan. I start off with a hot pan, but I'll turn it down right away because I want to cook them right in the pan the whole way. Just always hear that sizzle and let them sit. Probably take 3 to 4 minutes on each side. Give them a double check about halfway through so they don't burn them. While that's going, I'm going to show you how I did the fig barbecue sauce. That's my homemade barbecue sauce. You can use any one that you prefer. I take these dried figs and I just cut them kind of thin. If you're not comfortable with a thin cut, you can just kind of chop them up any way you want. get into the sauce. And they'll kind of fall apart and do their own thing with all this soft flesh here. It softens up the outer rind. And I have some apple cider here that I've reduced. This was actually 2 cups. I just put it in a little pot, let it reduce down to about 1/3 of a cup. And that goes in my barbecue sauce. Thins it out a little bit too, because I don't like a super heavy barbecue sauce, especially on something as light of a, it's pork in pork terms, it's light. I don't want to cover it up too much. I don't want the meat to be the star. I'm just going to let that simmer. It really smells good. You can definitely smell the fig in there, the cider. A nice little brown. Turn it up a little bit. And you could cook this to about medium well. That's what I would prefer. You don't want to cook it all the way, because it's a little more lean. It tends to be a little drier if I cook it all the way as well. So that's something to keep in mind. There we go. All right, we got them right where I want them. So I'm right around medium right now. As they continue to carry over cook and have that residual heat, they'll carry themselves a little bit further. And I got a thick one in there. So there's a couple ways you can do this. I've always been a fan of dunking it right in the sauce so it's totally covered, right? And pouring a little extra on top after. Oh, down here. Kind of like that. And last, all this beautiful cider and fig going on here, just a little bit more over the top. Almost there. What I'm going to do is throw some of these cut figs I have on here, just to kind of show them off a little bit. So it gives a contrast of the figs being what they look like before they went in and what they look like when they come out. A little bit of green onion. Some people don't like the green onion mixing with their barbecue, so put that on the outside to make it look cool. But that's it, really simple. Throw a couple of things into your favorite barbecue sauce or make a homemade barbecue sauce, sear the pork chops, and you're good. Definitely gonna be a crowd pleaser.